Good morning. My name is Paul, and I want to tell you a little bit about what God has done in my life. When I was younger, I didn't go to church very much. In fact, I remember 3 times is all I was ever in the church until I married my wife. That was the 4th time. When I was 32, my first child was born. When I was 35, my second daughter was born. Shortly after that, I started having these memories come into my head. When I was about 10 years old, I remember that I was riding in a car with a friend of mine and his family. We passed this little church, and I looked, and it must have been about noon. And I looked, and the people were coming out of the church, and they were standing out front. They were talking and laughing, hugging, just having a good time. And I thought, that is so good. That's wonderful. That's loving. And I thought, that's the kind of atmosphere I want my kids to grow up in. So it wasn't too long after that my wife, Linda, and I decided to take our girls to the church where she grew up so that they could learn these things. So we took them. And it wasn't maybe a year and a half after that, I turned 38. I found myself walking up the center aisle to tell the pastor I needed to be baptized. God's not just at the big things, though. He's in some of the small things. I remember a few years back, I decided it was time to change the oil in the small pickup truck I had. So I grabbed my wrench, and I got down on the garage floor, and I slithered up underneath that thing, and I reached for that wrench, and I put it on the drain plug there in the oil pan to take it out and let that old oil go out. Well, I reached up there, and I turned. I reached up there, and I turned, and it didn't do anything. And I turned again, and I turned. It wouldn't do anything. I thought, I sure put this thing in tight last time I changed the oil. Well, I'm working at that thing, and I said, well, let me scooch up a little bit better, get a better angle, and I did that, and I turned on that thing. It wasn't going anywhere, and I kept trying, and I'm getting frustrated, and finally, I'm about to cry. And so I did cry. I cried out, Jesus, you got to help me with this. And this voice come into my head and says, turn it the other direction. Ain't God good?